Hi, my name is Rhonda Beyreis, and this we are going to be making a mushroom stroganoff. Really easy to do. We're going to be using a little earth balance in our cast iron pan, and we're going to let that melt down a little bit. I don't know if you've ever made a roux, but it's really quite simple. We just actually melt the butter with the earth balance, melt it down, and then we're going to be adding some flour to it once this melts. And we will just continue to make a paste out of that, and that's what we will call our roux. So here I have some organic flour, just adding it as I go, just to keep it moving into this paste. We want a paste, and as you can see, it's starting to turn into a little bit of a paste, and that's what we're after. We just keep stirring it until we get what we're looking for here. I've actually taken and saved the water from the pasta that I cooked, because that's also going to help us with our roux. We'll add just a little bit more flour to this and some of our water here. Now, as you see, this will start making a nice, beautiful, kind of like a cream sauce actually. And that's really what we're after. So as I continue to move this around in here, it will start making a paste. Kind of looks lumpy at the moment, but as I continue, you'll see that it will start to thin out and make what we're after as a roux. I love doing this with the mushrooms instead of meat. We know that meat has a lot of different things in it that we're probably not really wanting to eat in our system, so mushrooms really actually work quite well as a substitute. I've used the portobello mushrooms here in this recipe, and what that will do will kind of give it the little beef effect. A lot of people like to eat beef stroganoff, so this will be our version of beef stroganoff. Here you can see it really making a paste. I will continue to add more of the liquid here because we need it to be like a cream paste. See it spinning around here on my stove, which is fine. Gotta love this stove. Mushrooms are good for you. A lot of people don't like to eat them, but they're amazing. There's so many different benefits for mushroom. We're going to be also adding spinach to this, which will give it more color and a deeper body. The next thing I want to add right now is going to be bacon. Bacon actually gives a beautiful flavor of smoked. It's another type of yeast, which is good for you. Adding this to it, it gives it a nice, deeper, and it smells really good. We're going to add a little salt to this, just a dash of salt. And then I've got some smoked paprika that I'm adding as well, which will give it a different color and also give it the flavor that we're looking for a smoked mushroom stroganoff. Add just a little bit more of the water here. Remember, this is the reserved water from the pasta that we are going to be using. Perfect. I'm going to add some red onions to this and some garlic. Garlic always is a nice additive to different flavors. Onions, garlic, beautiful. It smells really good. Sometimes I know it's hard to maybe use your hands when you're trying to chop things up, so one of the things I did is I picked up the mushrooms that were actually sliced. And it's just easy. If you don't want to chop them, if your hands don't work so well, just go ahead and just crinkle them up in here and bust them up. Works just fine. I've actually chopped the rest of these, but I figure if maybe you're having issues with your hands and you don't want to do that, it's just easy to do. Just smash them up. So we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms into this. This dish will be added right on top of the pasta. I've got some egg noodles sitting here that I've cooked. We're going to add just a little bit more of this water. And this will cook down. It is such a beautiful dish when it's all done. It smells really good. It's definitely got the effect of a stroganoff. There. According to the way you like your creaminess in your stroganoff is how you'll add your water. If you're doing this for one person, maybe you're an elderly person and you're just doing it for a one, then you're going to just do the roux according to you, and then using as much water as you need to make a single dish. But for me, I'm just doing this kind of a little bigger. I'm going to be adding some spinach now, which you will see. And what I did is I steamed the spinach And then I chopped it up so it wasn't great big long pieces. And that also will give it a darker color and a more deeper bodied flavor. I'm just continuing to stir this down. This is something you can let sit on the stove and simmer for like 15-20 minutes just to get all the flavors to marinate together, which is what we're after. We want it to be all encompassed together. But as you can see it now changing color and looking pretty dark and pretty. And the last item that I'm going to add to this, or I'm going to add just a little bit of Marsala cooking wine. I know that seems a little weird, but as this cooks, all it does is give flavor. Some people might not like that, but it doesn't have any alcohol to it. It's just going to give the flavor that I'm looking for to help it add to more of a stroganoff. And then last but not least, we're going to add some tomatoes. We're going to let this pop. These tomatoes are going to give it more color. And you can add the tomatoes at the very end. You can add them while you want them cooking. Either way, it just gives it a really pretty color and it really adds body and flavor to this dish. So I'll add a few more and I'll leave a few for plating. Quite simple here. Very easy to make. Something that can be done in advance where you set it on the stove and you allow it to actually sit there and simmer for you so that when you're ready to eat it, this is something you can do in advance, let it sit, come back to it, and have a nice meal. You can do this for one or for many, however you want to do it. So let's plate this now. I've used the egg noodles. You can use egg yolks, which have no eggs in it. They're noodles that you can get at like Whole Foods, Sprouts, something like that. You can use regular egg noodles, whatever you want to do. And we're going to go ahead and plate this onto our noodles. Isn't this pretty? It smells really good. It's got that smoke flavor to it. The mushrooms are what you would use instead of the meat, like I said. Look how pretty this looks. And then just to top off the top of it, we're going to go ahead and add a few more tomatoes to just to make it pretty. And then we'll add just a little bit of parsley on top, and there you go. Here we have a nice mushroom stroganoff coming to you from RAWndalicious.